Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate. If you haven't been here before, this is my second video and welcome to Curiosity Prism. Today I wanted to make a video about, well, I kind of told in the first intro video, which my apologies, I saw that it got stuck halfway at the end of the video. So that really sucked, but hopefully those of you who watched it, you got the idea, and I think from here on out I'll be able to make better quality videos because I'm learning. So we'll see how this channel improves. My initial making of the channel was for health and wellness, especially focusing on mental health. As I said in the first intro video, I have issues with PMDD. I don't really like affirming it to myself, so I don't really want to say I suffer from it, even though I said that in the first video. But I don't want to like stake that as like my destiny or what I am, because I feel like that only kind of makes me a victim. And I'm recording early in the morning, so if you see some kids' heads pop up here, just know that that's what's going on. Okay, so let's get down to business. So I had 4 kids, and I felt that after my last, I always felt like I had irritability problems, and it just wasn't normal. I always felt moody and angry for no reason. And as this kept progressing after having children, I realized that this was happening around my cycle. Usually about 1 to 2 weeks before I start my cycle, I was having these feelings of depression, anxiety, anger, irritability, moodiness, increased appetite. And normally, yes, we do have PMS symptoms, but PMDD is like PMS on steroids. It is unbearable, and sometimes it can cause women to not be able to function normally in their everyday lives. So I wanted to talk about PMDD, what it is, what you might be experiencing, and what I've experienced, and kind of like help each other out in like finding answers and feeling better, because it can be debilitating. Like, it can come between me and my family and other relationships, and sometimes I've even felt like I am very closed off and I kind of sequester myself away from my friends and family around this time, and that's a problem. That's when you need somebody the most, is when you're feeling like shit. Let's get down to it. So what is PMDD? Well, PMDD stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So in researching exactly, I wanted to kind of compile like an actual medical rundown of what PMDD is, because I think you deserve that more than just hearing my experience. That way, if you feel like you've ever experienced something like this, you'll know. It's very specific. I got my source from the Johns Hopkins University, and I will include that link below, so if you want to check it out for yourself. I encourage y'all to go and look up other videos and other women's experiences. The Johns Hopkins University article says it's a severe and chronic medical condition that needs attention and treatment. They go on to say that lifestyle changes and medicines can help. And we'll talk about medicines in a little bit, because I actually have an opinion on that. That brings me to my most important piece of advice that I can give you. Go see your doctor. I am not a medical professional, and I am not giving medical advice, but the only advice that I can give is to go see your doctor. Anything else you hear on here is just my experiences and information I found online. Take that information with you into your doctor's office. Find yourself a good doctor to help you out. So what causes it? Well, the bummer about this whole thing is nobody really knows. One of the thoughts is that it could be an abnormal reaction with hormones around the menstrual cycle. And the Johns Hopkins article says the hormonal changes can cause a serotonin deficiency. And serotonin is actually a natural substance that is found in the body, in the brain, and the intestines. I didn't do a deep dive on serotonin, but that's something we can look at later, and how it relates to PMDD once I do a little bit more digging. I'm not an investigative journalist, as you can probably tell, but I'm willing to go the extra mile to kind of find answers for us right here. So let's kind of talk about the symptoms here. And I guess I'll couple that with my personal experience. So I'm going to show the list here because I was going to kind of read them off and I'm like, nah, they can read. Here are all the list of the psychological symptoms, the gastrointestinal symptoms, the skin problems, neurologic and vascular problems, fluid retention. So in my personal experience, the moodiness, the anger, forgetfulness, a poor self-image, that one is huge. Anxiety, gastrointestinal issues that I've had, bloating, big time. Skin problems. I used to have the worst acne. For some reason now, I don't really have that, and it's kind of weird. I don't know as of this year, because normally around this time I would break out horribly. So I'm not sure if it was an allergy or what, but it seems like around my cycle, my skin has cleared up a lot. And it also could be because of the products that I'm using. Neurologic and vascular symptoms. I used to have severe headaches, but now I also, as I said in my other video, I had something else called pseudotumor cerebri, and that actually is excess cerebrospinal fluid on your brain. And I'm not sure if that is why I had headaches or if it was because of PMDD. Since I've gotten my cerebrospinal fluid down, so I'm guessing that that's where the headaches were coming from. Swelling of the feet, hands, and ankles. I would get super bad swelling in my hands. Now I feel like I don't have that as much anymore. Isolation from others, the poor self-image, the anger, the moodiness, and the anxiety, the increased appetite, especially around bread and carbs and crap. And so all of these things were something that if I got hooked into it, I was eating nonstop. More swelling and more fluid retention and more weight gain, leading to the never-ending cycle of poor self-image. So what can we do, ladies? What can we do? As I stated before, it is best to go see your doctor. And this is actually an important point because I want to talk about this a little bit. If you go to see a doctor, I suggest you be very hyper aware about how they listen to what you feel like you are experiencing. As also stated in the article, there's not many tests you can do to figure out what you have. The best thing you could do is look at this list. If you have about 5 or more of these symptoms around 1 to 2 weeks before your period, and it ends about 1 to 3 days after your menstrual cycle starts, then this is a pretty good indicator that this is PMDD. We pop into a PMDD support group on Facebook. I'm in a couple of them, and kind of be like a fly in a wall. Just kind of see what other women are talking about and see if their experiences are relating to you. Because when I joined these groups, I was like, oh my gosh, I found my people. Like, I'm so happy and relieved to see that I'm not the only person experiencing life like this around my menstrual cycle, and what a hell it is, and that there's nothing wrong with me, and more people understand me, and especially moms. And I feel so bad for these women and all of us because, you know, most of them are trying to keep their house together, raising kids. I have 4 kids, and PMDD can make it so debilitating to even be patient and understanding. And it's something that makes me super sad. But that is what I'm dealing with now. So that's the reality of the situation. So all I can do now is come to terms with that's what my life is like right now, and do my best to mitigate and making changes. Go into a doctor. Make sure that they are listening to you. Make sure that they are taking you seriously. Because PMDD isn't very well known, it can tend to be glazed over or thought to be other things. Seek out a psychiatrist who deals with mental health disorders. They study the brain. They might have more answers than even your gynecologist does. More and more information every day coming out about what PMDD is and how to cope with it. If you feel like you are not being, but if you feel like you're not being heard, girl, get your ass up and find another doctor. I went into my gynecologist, who's not my gynecologist anymore. She was a great doctor, so I'm not even trying to say anything bad about her. But it was a year after I had Ren, and I went in and I was telling her, listen, I think I have this thing and it's making my life a living hell. What can you do for me? And she's like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna prescribe you Wellbutrin. I give this to a lot of my patients and I hear good things. You know, everybody's, yeah, whatever. The thing that I didn't like about this was how quickly I prescribed a prescription. We didn't talk about any symptoms. We didn't talk about anything. I would think you'd need a little bit more information before even prescribing me a specific type of medication. And I just got this mommy's little helper vibe from it, if you know what I mean. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. And I haven't taken any medication ever. It is, if medication works for you, take it. And I'm not trying to stigmatize mental health medication, prescription medicines, because they do work for people and they improve the quality of life for people. And I am not a doctor and I have no, I'm just speaking from my personal experience. So if you're taking medications and they're working, then that is clearly what you should be doing. I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you, and know that I'm here for you. If you ever have any questions, or if you have any tips or tricks or hacks at what I can do to help with PMDD, leave them here. We can all learn from it down in the comments below. We all win if we, if we can pass along information that has helped you. Maybe it can help others. Give yourself grace. Let yourself off the hook. If your house isn't super tidy, it's okay. And if you don't have the energy because you're physically exhausted and not mentally stable at the moment, let it go. It doesn't matter. Think about it like this. If you are mentally tapped from energy, where should you expend that energy? Being concerned of how tidy your house is, or being patient to your toddler? It is completely crucial around this time to stay active. If you don't physically feel like you have the energy to get into the gym and run and lift weights and do all this physically exerting exercise, that is okay. Take a walk. Focus on gentle movements that week, or 1 to 2 weeks before you start your cycle, if that's when you regain your energy. Focus on those 1 to 2 weeks of walking every day for 30 minutes. A walk is super simple. It requires very little energy expenditure, but actually, you can actually burn more calories that way and keep your cardiovascular system going. Yoga is perfect. Slow and low yogas are perfect for this time. You can stretch out the pelvic muscles and the low back muscles, which mine get super tight around. So do some restorative yoga, or some yin yoga, or even some kundalini breathing, and up your meditation game. This is the time where I usually am confronted by a lot of distracting and anxiety inducing and depressive thoughts. One of the things that helps me is meditation. I'm a big meditator and I have been for years. Not consistently, but I do keep coming back to it. So that means something. Sit with your thoughts at least 5 minutes a day. If you can take them head on, they won't come out of around the corner later in the day and surprise you later on. Treat yourself. Read a book. Do something you love around this time. Remember, your body's going through hell right now. If there's any time to pamper yourself, because I feel like as women and moms, we tend to feel like we can't sit down and relax. Sometimes we kind of feel that way. So this is your body's outright call that it is time to slow down and de-stress and relax. So watch your favorite Netflix show, paint, knit, crochet, garden, sun exposure, and getting your hands dirty, and get outside, take a nature walk, get in the forest. When you can put yourself in that serene green setting, you are gonna release a lot of endorphins from just being outside in nature. We love to be outside, so do that for yourself. Let's talk about the children. That sounded creepy. Allow your kids to use screen time. I used to be like a big no screens person, even though it's hysterical because I love screens just as much as they do. I know we always try to Separate screen time from other time, which is very important. And obviously I'm not condoning just letting them sit in front of the TV all day long. If you need an hour or two to yourself and your children are okay, allow them the screens. Give them the free time that they want so they can have fun if you can't give it to them. So honestly, around the time that this is coming on, I warn everybody. I'm like, yo, this is going on. I'm sorry if I'm being a bitch, but this is what's happening. On purpose, mostly for little kids because they don't really understand. But if you're having a hard time, say that you're having a hard time. Like, this is how we destigmatize mental illness or mental health issues. A lot of times we don't want to talk about it because it means that there's something wrong with us. Well, that's not true. It's something you're experiencing. Mental health or mental illness isn't you. It's just something that you are experiencing. So if you want to help destigmatize it, let people know how you're feeling. It'll put everybody on board. Nobody will be wondering what the hell's wrong with you. And people will be able to respect your boundaries once they know you don't feel right. This isn't an easy thing to go through. This can last until menopause. So if you have to deal with this shit until then, so that means give yourself grace. Okay, so that's my PMDD video. I hope you guys found it valuable. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share it with a mom who needs some love. Hit the notification button so you're always getting notifications on my videos, or at least once a week, you can expect a new video. And as always, I will see you next week. Peace.